What do they say, Bryce? The three things you don't talk about: politics, religion, and sex. I figure we'll talk about all three of those things today, if that's cool with you.
That sounds like a great conversation to me,
Yes,
man.
it does.
Yes, it does. I can't wait to get in.
That's why I started following you is because you talk about stuff that other people don't talk about, and not in a vulgar way or anything like
No,
inappropriate, just in a way that is interesting to me. I want to see what you have to say.
I appreciate that, brother, and I think that hits on a bigger thing going on across America and Canada too, across all the Western world. Is there's all these taboo conversations that people are afraid to have, right? People are scared to have certain conversations. And I got to tell you, if we want to start fixing things, we're going to have some of these tough conversations. And there is a way to do it respectfully, though. And I do try and do that. I mean, obviously, sometimes there's a little satire, a little sarcasm in there, Bryce, but you got to be able to laugh too in these trying times.
Yep.
So, I mean, I want to talk to you. I know we got a lot to talk about regarding UFC stuff. I know Woodson's been chirping at you. So we can get into that, but maybe let's jump it off like this, since we just started off talking about the woes of America. What is the biggest problem Americans are facing right now, in your opinion?
It's a spiritual problem. And what's going on is when you're a spiritually weak nation, you pretty much start failing in all other aspects. And the reason being is because the Bible is the source of truth. It's the number one main source of truth. It's really the only source of truth. It's what our society is based upon. It's like the glue that holds everything together. And so when you start diverging away from the Bible, you get these demons that take over people, and this whole society starts collapsing. For example, try to think of a tribal society. Try to think of a Muslim society that has reached the heights of United States. There's not one. The United States is what it is because of the Christian base that has made it strong. There's no more formidable force than an army of Christians. There never has been, there never will be, because when Christians get together, they are ready to die. They're wanting to die for God, to serve God. That's the highest reward you can receive in Christianity, is to bring honor to God and die for his name. So when you have an army of people ready to die for God, it's a strong nation, brother, and you can't
I feel
break that.
that.
You can't break that nation. And we've got away from that. We have a lot of demons in our society. And if you don't think that these politicians are demonic, they're satanic, I'm telling you, you're just confused, because you think that this is a physical battle. This is a spiritual battle. And these people that are calling shots up in DC, they're spiritually wicked. They're infested with demons, and a lot of them serve Satan.
So that's an interesting way to look at it, Bryce. And like, I would be remiss, and I just want to try and address things in a respectful way. But you're talking about dying for God. And by the way, Bryce, I'm not sure I would be willing to die for God, but I'll die for my fellow man all day. And I know that that's we're splitting hairs here, but I mean, I can appreciate what you're saying. You're talking about a lack of morals, a lack of family values, all that stuff, which I do think is a prevalent problem in America. Having said all that, so you talk about the politicians being demons. Like, is separation of church and state, first of all, is that even possible? And is that a good thing? Is that something we should strive? Or do you think the state should have more religion, should be combined with religion?
Great question. Absolutely great question. Let's start out with this. I think they ought to teach the Bible in public schools. It's the number one book of all time. It's the best-selling book of all time. It's the best historical document of all time. It's the most articulate book that's ever been composed. It's not like any other book. It has over 40 different authors, wrote in over 1,500 years. When you take that Bible out of school, you take the best historical document out of the schools. You start replacing it with things like, oh, we live on a spinning ball. Oh, we come from monkeys. You can be gay if you want to be gay. It doesn't have any repercussions. Uh, it, it, I'm just telling you, it goes to hell. When you take the Bible away from people, out of that public school, and replace it with, oh, we came from monkeys, you're going to get a society that falls. And that's what we're dealing with. The good thing is, though, is if we just turn back to God, we'll have a strong nation. That's no doubt. And it doesn't, and the Bible is full of stories about nations that turned from God and got destroyed and then came back to God and got redeemed. And so basically,
Babylon.
we still have hope.
There's always hope, my friend, and I think all of us come to find, whether you want to call it God or hope, we all have our own way to it. And at this point, I got to ask you, Bryce, because I know I was listening to a podcast you were on last week, telling some stories of the good old days of the True Thug Nasty days, and I know you mentioned there was a specific instance with an ex of yours, the witch lady, that made you kind of start thinking about these things more. By the way, this is a totally inappropriate question, Bryce, but I got to ask it. I know that girl was crazy, but you got to tell me the sex was pretty good with that crazy bitch, right?
No, not really.
No, not even. Damn it.
Well, she just destroyed my life, and
That sucks.
everybody wonders that, but when you actually see a demon and you actually feel a demonic presence, um, it's just like I said, I'm a Christian now because of that experience, because I was dating a witch, it made me a Christian. And so until you go through that yourself and you actually see what demons do, how they operate up close, she is a beyond malicious person. She's the most malicious person I've ever seen. Anyways, it's not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we don't have to dredge all that up, but I wanted to ask, so that happens. Where did you teach yourself a lot of this stuff? Is there any mentors you have? I'm not asking you to name them or anything, but I'm just curious, like, where did you learn all that you know about God and start developing these obviously pretty hardcore beliefs that you have, Bryce? Is it something, let me just add on, do you find that you find solace in your belief, like in a way that allows you to be the best you can be? I'm just curious where this comes from now, because you clearly have a very strong passion for Christianity.
So I wasn't a Christian at all until I performed an exorcism. And actually, the moment that I performed
Jesus.
an Yeah, the moment I performed an exorcism, I instantly became a Christian. And from that point on, I was so intrigued by the word of God that I can't explain it any other way. I was compelled to
Okay.
read the Bible. I was compelled to find out more things about Jesus. I was compelled to. I didn't have an option. It was
Interesting.
my mind
Interesting.
was my mind was just racing. It said, "Who is this Jesus guy? How did he live? Where did he come from? What did he do? What did he say?" I wanted to find out everything about Jesus I could. So that got me into the Bible. Then I
You know
start
what?
reading into the
Oh,
Bible.
sorry. You go ahead. Go ahead, Bryce.
Yeah,
Sorry, my bad.
then I start reading into the Bible and I start seeing all of the prophecies from, because once I became a Christian and started reading the Bible, it was different than when I was an atheist reading the Bible. When I was
For
an
sure.
atheist when I was an atheist reading the Bible, I would look at it and I would say, "Oh well, there's no way we come from one man and one person named Adam and Eve, and no, we come from monkeys." That's what I used to think because I was brainwashed by public education. But when I became a Christian and reread the Bible, I understood it as fact, and so it was like just it. I can't even explain how amazing it was rereading Genesis because it's like, oh, this is where we came from. I know now. I know where we came from. I know that there was not a big bang. People think there's a big bang. You know who made up the big bang? A Catholic priest, not a scientist.
Interesting. I did not know that.
I
Well,
didn't
you
know
know why
that.
he did that? Because the Catholic Church is infiltrated by Satan. That was one of those pedophile priests. Do you know how many pedophiles there are in the Catholic Church over there at the Vatican?
Yeah, I sadly I do. I do.
They all serve Satan. And so for this,
Bryce, can I jump in and just ask you, do you think that if Catholicism were to allow their priests to have relations with women or whoever, like to allow them to have sex, do you think that issue would go away? Like, is that a part of the problem? No, you think it's still ingrained in the system?
no,
Damn.
brother, the problem with the Catholic Church is just what Jesus said, and he wasn't talking about the Catholic Church specifically, but Jesus said, there are going to be people that say that they are serving God, but they are snakes, they are vipers, and they're of Satan. And the problem with the Catholic Church is they're of Satan. That's the problem with it. Not, they. Here's the thing: they don't just molest boys out of pleasure, John. They molest
Okay.
boys in service of the devil. And if you don't understand that, you don't know what's going on. They don't like molesting little boys, all of them. Some of them do it to gain favor from Satan. That's how it works. And you can think anything that you want, but I'm telling you, they do sacrifices, they kill kids, they drink their blood, and they molest kids because it gains them favor in the kingdom of Satan. It gains them rank with Satan. And that is how it works.
Well, no matter who you are, you can't deny that certain things in our society do seem to point to that. I mean, when you just from what you said there, Bryce, it makes me think of the Balenciaga ad campaign. If you remember that disgusting display with the kids and everything. I have been down the adrenochrome rabbit hole as well. But having said that, man, like Jesus, so how do we trust? You're saying we need to bring Jesus back into the culture, but how can we trust the Catholic Church after everything you just said?
So you don't have to trust the Catholic Church to trust Jesus. In fact, when I came to
Okay.
Jesus,
Okay.
yeah. You don't
All
gotta
right.
trust the
All
Catholic
right.
Church, brother. The Catholic Church has a bunch of stuff that I don't like, but that's not to say that all Catholics are not legitimate in their faith. Um,
Fair.
but you can trust the Bible because it's a reliable historical document. It said 2,000 years ago the Euphrates River is going to run dry during the end of times. How the Euphrates River
That's
is running
scary.
dry right now?
Yeah, I do know that. I do know that. You had mentioned some prophecies you wanted to go over. So, that's definitely one of them that you're referencing right now?
Oh yeah, dude, it's full of so many prophecies in there that it cannot have happened without divine intervention. That Bible is God breathed. How did they know 2,000 years ago that an army of 200 million was going to go from the east and attack Israel heading west across the dry Euphrates? John wrote that in a book 2,000 years ago, and now look, we're looking like the world's coming to an end and the Euphrates River is going dry. You can't make that up. And
Scary.
then when
That's
when it does
scary.
it, but the thing is that Revelation was not to scare us; it was to prepare us. God was telling us that this world is going to get so nasty, John, that there's not going to be a hope for freedom on this earth anymore. And that's when Jesus comes back. But when I was a kid and I wasn't a Christian, I hear stuff like the mark of the beast, and I start thinking, oh well, this Bible's a fairy tale. Who would take a mark on their forehead and a mark on their hand to go shopping at the grocery store? Hey,
Right.
look now, John.
Oh, buddy.
People are going to
Yeah.
get that chip in their head. People are going to get that chip in their
Yep.
hand. They're going to say, "Oh, this is for your safety." And I'm telling you right now, John, I don't think that the mark of the beast is coming. I know the mark of the beast is coming. They're going to try to chip every single human being. They're going to have control of your brain once they chip you. You might not even be a human at that point. You might be more similar
No.
to a robot because they can control you through that chip. And you got people like Elon Musk, and oh, he's so charming. People love him. That right there, that's the false prophet. He's damn near the Antichrist.
Yes, he is. I agree with you there.
He's a demon from hell. He's a demon from hell. He's a lying scumbag. He's a
Yes, he
demon
is.
from hell. And people say, oh, I love him so much. I'll put his chip in my head. He's putting chips in people's heads now. John, this is what Revelations was talking about. It's coming. And I'm trying to tell people because I love them.
I'll tell you this too. You talk about the mark of the beast, and I wonder if the mark of the beast is going to come in the form of a barcode. Because frankly, I just saw a really disturbing story out of France that they're going to require residents during the Olympics to have a special barcode. It's basically digital ID, and just to access their house. Just to go to their fucking house, Bryce. They're going to need to have a specific barcode. They're going to have their identification. And that's the beginning of the end, my friend. That's the end of privacy. That's the end of freedom. That's the end of individuality. That's the end of being able to have a conversation, like we're having right now with two, level-headed, logical people that see the world in vastly different ways, and that's okay. Because at the end of the day, I will say this, Bryce, whether these things in the Bible are coming to fruition as is, like exactly how it is, it's in the end, I think it's going to have to be us that save each other, because we can't, God's not going to step in and do it for us. You know what I mean?
Well, in the end of the book, that's what happens is Jesus comes back the second time, and I know that it's going to happen, and I most likely won't be here. There's going to be something called a rapture. I don't know if you've heard of the rapture.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I'll tell you this, Bryce. I'm confirmed. I was an altar boy when I was a kid. I was actually in the church choir, Anglican. So when I mentioned some of the problems that plagued the Catholic Church, we always called Anglicanism Catholic Light. We always called it like Bud Light or Coors Light. We have all of the forgiveness and none of the guilt, I like to say. So not to make a mockery of it, but having said that, I think back on those times fondly and the community that was there. But I think now is going to be a good time, Bryce, to just get into. I'm gonna explain to you my journey with religion, and this is just my journey with it, and then I'm going to tell you a story about the day my nana died, which was just about a month ago, and that's it's not as it's certainly a much more pleasant story than your kind of coming to God story, but it has made me reassess. Um, it's made me reassess everything, man. To be frank with you, but like I said, yeah, we'll get to that. I was like I was saying, I was confirmed altar boy. I was in the choir. I had a pretty good little voice too until my balls dropped, Bryce, and then that went to shit, obviously. But I go back there. I'll go back there for Christmas with my ma or whatever, right? The same church I went to as a kid, and all the people there know me. They ask about me. They care about you. Like they were all there for Nana's funeral. So the community that church can provide is something that I will stand by forever, and do stand and do understand the necessity for it. I think it gets a little dangerous when you start clashing with other ideologies. But I just wanted to this is how I'm going to start it. So there's a guy who was born on December 25th. He was born of a virgin. There was a star in the east. He was adored by three kings. Teacher at 12, baptized at 30, and he had 12 disciples. Who do you think I'm talking about?
Jesus, but he was not born in December. He was born in spring, but I
That's true.
understand. Yeah.
So
Yeah, so that's actually Horus. That is the Egyptian god Horus. I want to read you another one. Horus also performed miracles. He was known as the Lamb of God. He was crucified. He died for 3 days and was resurrected. Krishna, this is the Indian deity. He was born of a virgin. Star in the East, performed miracles, resurrected. We have Dionysus, born of a virgin. This is in Greece, 500 BC. Dionysus, born of a virgin, born on December 25th, performed miracles. King of Kings, Alpha and Omega. We have Mithra. This is in Persia, 1200 BC, born of a virgin, born on December 25th, 12 disciples, performed miracles, dead for 3 days, resurrected. So what I'm getting at there, Bryce, in a long-winded way, is the fact that I think religion itself has been. I'll tell you this. I remember being in university class, taking English. Biggest waste of fucking money in my life, by the way. I'll add that in. But having said that, I tried to take away certain things from it. I remember we were studying Dante's Inferno. And I remember sitting there and they're explaining, like, yes, that's part of it. You got to be humble. You got to be humble. Because if you're not humble, if you're jealous of other people, you go to hell. But if you're humble, you get to, bathe in paradise in the afterlife. And I always thought that was very convenient for those that have everything in this life. I always thought it was a very convenient way to tell people to shut the hell up and not complain about what they have. Because if you do, you're bitter. You're the sins, the pride sin. You're breaking all of them. You're breaking all of them. Shut up. Accept your shitty situation in life. Listen to the rules, or you go to hell. And I do worry that I shouldn't say I worry. I think it is a necessity. So, like, what it may seem, and Bryce, I hope you understand. This is just me providing you with my take on how I view these things. But I mean, the whole concept of Jesus is a recycled. It's a recycled format based on the solstice, the movement of the stars, and and there's a beautiful cosmic spirituality to that. I really do believe that. But having said that, I mean, how many deities did I just name off that pretty much have the exact same backstory as Jesus? So I'm just like, so just when you start thinking of it on that level, I think that religion is a beautiful way to keep a culture, a society in check. It's a way to have also to teach, to instill values. I mean, let's be real. Without Christianity, in Europe, none of us would know how to fucking read. Like there's been a lot of good that's come from religion. It's when we get to these sour notes where if we all look at it, man, we all just want the same thing. You may have heard me say this before, Bryce, but it is my tagline. I think everyone in the world, almost everyone, 99% of us, right? We just want a good chance at a good life. We just want our kids, if we have kids, to have a good shot, a fair shot at a good life. And I think if maybe we could start, we got to boil it back down to that. You know what I mean? Get back down to those basics and understand that even someone in Palestine right now, watching bombs fly over their house, that person, if you really broke it down and had an individual conversation with that person, I guarantee they just want the same things we want, man. I do. I really do believe that. And I'm going to try. And even though it doesn't do me no good, Bryce, I'd be a lot easier. My life would be a lot easier if I just, stuck to the script and said certain things that are expected of me, but I just will never do that. I think that's why you're drawn to the channel. So I hope everything I just said you can take in an open way. And actually, is there anything, I'd love to hear what you think about. I know that was a lot. I just spewed a lot of verbal diarrhea there, but I just would love to hear a little bit about what you think about my take, and then I will tell you about my spiritual story.
Right. So let's start talking about first off, address the thing of all these other deities that were mentioned before
Yeah.
Jesus. They have a similar story. You said some of them were. I remember you threw out a date. You said 500 BC.
Yeah, so one of them, so there were various. They came from that's over the last 2,000 years. I would say so. Like,
So what's interesting about that statement is this story about it's mimicking the Bible and everything. It's in the year 500 BC. So we're using BC as a point of reference. What's BC stand for?
I think people think it means before Christ.
Before
But
Christ. And
I
why
don't
do
know
we
if that's
that?
actually.
Why do yeah, they changed it because they hate God. It's before Christ. And so why do we use Christ BC as a reference point? Because that's when Jesus was born, and that's the most important date of all humanity. And all humans on that date, since that date, have agreed that's the most important date. We're going to base our calendar off of that date. So it's interesting that you think that these stories hold the validity when you're comparing it to a calendar system that's based off of the man that you're trying to put down.
That's an interesting point. That's an interesting point.
About it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we measure years? We do it off the birth of Jesus Christ. When you measure something, you say, "Oh, it was 2,000 years ago." 2,000 years from what? From the birth of
Right.
Jesus Christ, from the birth of the King. You're talking about, brother. It is a different level of validity than the stories that you're talking about. None of the other stories that you're talking about were passed down from that Old Testament all the way up to that New Testament. None of those books were written over the course of 1,500 years. The Bible, it took 1,500 years to write the thing. And so when you're talking about one book with this amount of information in it, there is no other, there never will be, and there's not going to be anything close. It's a unique book. We have to get that out there first. It is a unique book. There's nothing like it, never will be. There's similarities. A lot of people talk about the flood. Okay, you see
Yeah,
what I'm
of
saying?
course. Of course. Yeah, yeah.
Everybody knows that there was a flood. And so there's similarities in other books, but nothing is like that Bible. Nothing is like that Bible. So I just want to point that out is nothing is gonna it's none of those books that you just mentioned are the number one selling books of all time. None of them. They'll never
Certainly
be.
not.
They'll
Certainly
never be
not.
because the Bible is the number one selling book of all time, and it always will be. There will never be another book that outsells the Bible. It may be after the rapture, but then they're gonna burn books.
So, you know what though, man? I hate the fact I don't like them taking any book out of school. I'm an all or nothing kind of guy when it comes to that. Same with freedom of speech. It's either all good or none of it's good. So yeah, they've taken Bible out. They've taken fiction novels out that I think are some of the best novels ever written. I know Texas is wild in on that. So this is what I'm talking about, where you get into these dangerous realms where these it starts bleeding into everything else, you know. But at the end of the day, it is suppression of information. Bottom line, I agree with you there, Bryce. Like that's the bottom line, and it's almost seems like some politicians in America are doing things to purposely piss off Christians. Do you ever get the sense that your politicians are like trolling you guys?
Brother, it's beyond trolling. It's they hate us. They hate Christianity because they serve Satan. If you think that this economy could be messed up as bad as it is on accident, if you think that this vaccine could kill as many people as it's killed on accident, if you think all this stuff is an accident, you're not understanding how the enemy works. Satan loves one thing more than anything, death. That's why when Pfizer puts out these vaccines and they kill 10 million people, they don't care. They have no conscience. They love death because God is the way and the truth and the life. Anything that's opposite of God is what they love. Since God is life, they love death. And
I
so
see.
their evil actions is proof of what I'm saying is Satan. And here's one more thing about the um what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
You were talking about everybody wants the same thing, and I do agree we're pretty much all the same. And what I want to say is that humans are evil, man. We're wretches.
Oh, I love that you went there, brother, because I was gonna say, like, you know, you say they're doing these things on behalf of Satan, and sometimes I wonder if they're just doing it on behalf of themselves. Like just straight up, you know, selfish jealousy, greed, all that good stuff that comes with being a human, you know, power. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
humans are wretches, and without a proper system.
Facts.
Here's the thing, John, is without a proper worshiping of God to hold you accountable, anybody and everybody is a wretch. And let me tell you why. Because you'll start justifying things that you do. You'll say, okay, well, I'm the king. It's okay for me to have five wives. Well, now you have
Sure,
10.
sure. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
now you have ten sons and none of them have a proper dad. And then guess what? The 10 sons, they fight each other and destroy your kingdom because your sons all want the throne. You see? And so
There it
I'm
is.
telling you, without Christianity, without that moral guideline and talking to God, praying to God, asking what's right, and having Him every day to walk with Him, I'm telling you, you're going to stumble into darkness quickly. Even with God, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to have to beg for mercy. But without God, I'm telling you, we're wretches. And you can go kill babies and justify it without God. You'll say, oh, yeah, but those babies they were going to be bad people when they grew up anyways. I had to kill them. And that's what people diverge into with no Christianity, people turn into baby killers. People turn into they'll fuck 10 women and make 100 kids without God. I'm telling you, every man is capable of that without God, and we are all wretches. I'm not Joe Osteen. I didn't come on here to tell you, oh, you could just turn to Jesus Christ and your life is going to be prosperous and successful and you're great. You're a great
Yeah.
person. No, you're not. You're a wretch and you're going to hell. And if you don't turn to God, you're going to destroy yourself. Your sin is going to do just what it did to me. I was drowning in sin. I was living with a possessed witch because of my sin. But when I turned to God, I saw the light. I saw the truth. I saw the way. And his name is Jesus Christ. And that's why I love God, is because he saved me from my own demise. And I promise he did.
And I feel that, man, and I can feel the passion coming right through the goddamn computer screen. I'm not kidding when I say that, man. And I'm glad it gives you strength. But I would just to play devil's advocate, when you say without God, humans can be drawn or tempted into doing these awful things. What do you have to say about the people that gave me death threats on Easter? I know I showed you the video. Out of respect, I sent you the video before I even posted it because I knew it was going to ruffle some feathers, and I did that because Joe Biden named Easter National Trans Day. Obviously, a clear attempt to just cause division. In my opinion, a clear attempt to piss people off on both sides. So obviously, for people that are unaware, so I figured it'd be a good idea to dress up as Jesus and go to a gay bar in Brooklyn and just interview people. And we actually had a fantastic time. And then I woke up that next morning, Bryce, and people wanted to kill me on behalf of Jesus.
Yeah, that's not right of them. Because let me tell you, brother, it made me so sad when I saw that. When I saw my friend, because you're my friend now, I love you and I trust
Yeah,
you.
right
And
back at you.
when I saw you talking bad about Jesus, not talking bad about him, but kind of almost making fun of him. I know you
I
don't understand. I know you don't understand. And the first thing I did is start praying for you, brother, because you don't understand the pain that he went through when he got beat on that cross. There were thousands of people there that watched it. This was a historical event. This was a man who died on the cross. He was beat to death by authorities. I can tell you the date. I can tell you who was in charge, Pilate. I can tell you the other Roman people
Yeah,
in charge.
Pontius
This was a
Pilate.
historical thing that happened. And I've done that before too. Before I was a Christian, I would make fun of other Christians. And so it reminded me of myself. When I saw you making fun of Jesus, it reminded me of myself before I came to Jesus. And then I started praying for you because I knew that you didn't know what is going on. And when you meet Jesus, when you come to Jesus and you feel the love and the forgiveness, first off, he's going to forgive you if you ask. I promise you.
That's what I think. That's honestly, brother, and I mean this. I know it seems like I was making fun of him. I really wasn't. It was more so an attempt to be a bridge in a broken community. And I use humor definitely as a way to try and communicate with people, to try and take these heavy subjects and provide a little bit of light to them. But having said that, I mean, I think if you watch to the end of the video, the message is that community trumps everything, and we have each other, and it doesn't matter what some fucking geriatric president calls a day. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter because it's just another day, and each of us are just another human. And that was my main message with that video. But I do appreciate the seriousness you approach it with, Bryce. And I do hope you know that I never meant to come off like I'm mocking the religion. It was more so like, hey, let's just put this all out there. And then obviously, so your reaction is totally valid. I mean, anyone's reaction is valid, but like your first thought wasn't to kill me. You know what I'm saying? Because that was a shocking thing for me to see, like to see that written, on my post. Like it was.
it was
Brother, it made me cry. I felt so bad for you. I felt so hurt for you when I saw you acting like Jesus, dressed up like Jesus. I felt so bad for you. It made me cry. It reminded me of my wretched self before I came to Jesus. It reminded me that you do not know, that you do not know, that you do not believe in the word of Jesus and you don't have him in your heart. It reminded me of that. And I started crying and I started praying for you because I love you with all my heart. I didn't say, oh, I want to kill you or this and that. It made
and I
me think.
appreciate that. I
When
appreciate
I
that
think
for
about
real.
that, it makes me sad, brother, when I think about that. And here's the thing, here's how serious of an issue it is, brother. All the apostles, all the apostles were killed except one of them.
Yeah.
This is let's talk about when the apostles were talking of Jesus, how highly they talked of him. So one of the apostles, he was to be hung on the cross. He was going to be killed to death. You know what he said he wanted to happen?
What?
He said, put the cross upside down. He said, put the cross
Oh,
upside down. He said, I'm not worthy of dying on the cross like my Jesus, like my God. He said, I'm not worthy of dying on the cross upright. Put that cross upside down. So these apostles, they would look at that and they would say, man, this is the worst of the worst because
right.
it's an imitation of Jesus. It's an acting of Jesus. These guys, they were scared of Jesus and the powers that he had. They were in admiration of Jesus. They were scared of him and they loved him. But when I saw that you were doing that, I understand, John, that you just don't know yet because I was the same guy. And before I casted out a demon in my life and knew the power of Jesus Christ, I would do the same thing. And so I don't think you're going to hell for that. I think you can ask for forgiveness. And when you realize the pain that Jesus went through, how he was beat to death, it says he was beat beyond recognition.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, let's take this opportunity to switch up the vibe because shortly after that, it was about a week after that, my nana who was 91, she lived a good life. Um, was not having the enjoyment of life probably was dwindling. She was having a hard time moving, hard time going to the bathroom, all that stuff. So she passed when I was in New York City there, and I was real close. I was real close with my nana, Bryce. I didn't have a father either. So at one point, my stepdad kicked me out of the house. I lived with my nana. Her husband had passed, 25 years ago. So long story short, me and my nana were tight, super tight, and I spent a lot of time with her in the hospital before I went on my little road trip in America. And man, it crushed me. Just like I saw the message from my ma, it's just like, hey John, call me. And exactly, you know what I mean? When you just know what that call is. So I called her. She tells me Nana passed. I couldn't even talk to her, man. I fucking start crying, walking to the store to get my coffee. It's about 8 a.m. And my followers were very much a part of Nana's life. She loved to like go live with me and just chat with people from all over the world, right? She got a kick out of it. There'd be people from Sweden, people from Australia, shouting out Donna, shouting out Nana. So I made a post telling people, listen, guys, Nana passed. I'm not gonna be making any news posts today. Okay. So I did that on the way to the store, Bryce. As I'm walking out of the store, I got my coffee. I'm walking out. This is in the middle of New York fucking city. This woman, this old Latino woman comes up to me and she goes, I'm so sorry about your grandmother. And bro, it fucking knocked my socks off. I didn't even know what to say. And then she kind of saw, I think she saw the bewilderment in my eyes and she's like, well, I'm a follower. But like I said, I had just posted that maybe 2 to 5 minutes before that woman. And I gave her the biggest hug in the middle of that intersection, Bryce, the biggest fucking hug. And she took my hand and she squeezed it. And I know this is just, we all deal with grief and regret and death in different ways. But I do think that was my Nana giving me one last hug, brother. And even I know that's kind of corny. I know that is what it is. But, something happened that day that I can't explain because there's 10 million people in that city. That's an impossibility. The fact that woman was standing on that corner and these motherfuckers, the light turned green while I was hugging this woman in the middle of the intersection, Bryce, and no one even honked. Like the whole world stopped for a second. And it has made me start looking at things in a more spiritual way. And I got to be honest with you, brother, since Nana passed, I've had not a couple, dozens of synchronicities happen throughout my life where things, like even just talking to you right now, my man, I think it was meant to be. I don't know if that's just something successful people say because things start going their way. Because I never used to say that. I used to say the world's chaos, but now that things are going my way, I'm starting to wonder if maybe there's more to it. I don't know. The human mind is an impossible thing to figure out, brother. But that's my spiritual story, and you know, I'm still having trouble quantifying that, in a way that, like you said, that maybe our school system would want us to look at it because I don't think that's explainable.
What
There's
happened
not a,
there?
there's not a, they're gonna, you're gonna have this instinct that says, "Oh, this is a natural thing. This is scientific. Oh, it could have happened." No, it
Right.
could. God was
Right.
reaching that day. God found a
I
way
think
to reach.
so.
I
I
know
think so,
so
man.
way to reach
I
you.
think
Let
so.
me just reminded me, and I've really never shared this story publicly at all. I've never shared this story publicly. I've told a couple people. I think I've told my wife about it. Um, and I just thought of it. And this is before I was a Christian. And looking back at it, um, I something amazing happened to me, and at the time I didn't even know what it was. But I went to the gates of heaven before. And
Wow.
what happened, John, is my Mimi, she passed away that night. And I'm telling you, it's just like your story. It was something spiritually happened on me the night that my Mimi passed away. It didn't make me a Christian though. In fact,
Right.
I forgot about it for over 10 years. I forgot
Wow.
I said, oh, it was just a dream. It was just a dream. But let me
Right.
tell you what happened is uh, when I was a kid, I would sleep with my Mimi and my Papa. I would sleep in the middle of them, right?
Yeah.
So you got
Yeah.
Papa and Mimi on the sides. I'm in the middle. They call me Brycer Bears, what they call me. So you got all the bears. You got all the bears in the bed. Brycer Bears, the little cub in the middle.
That's
Well,
right.
I'll never forget the day that my Mimi died. Um, she had a she had a trach tube down her throat and everything. She was hating her life because of the
Yeah.
deteriorating, and she was ready to go. But anyways, she went out. They pulled the plug on her because she was on assisted oxygen. They pulled the plug and she passed away. And that night, me and Papaw went to sleep that night. It was just me and Papaw. Mimi's not there. Well, in the middle of the night, I start hearing my papaw, and he says, I miss you so much. I miss you so much. I love you so much. I love you
Wow.
so much. I miss you so much. And he's repeating that. He's repeating it just over a dozen times. He's not,
Was he sleeping? Like, was he sleeping, or do you know if he was sleeping or not?
well, I'm asleep while he's saying this. I'm asleep. I'm
Oh,
hearing it. I'm
okay.
hearing it in
Okay.
my sleep. So
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah. Okay.
a
Okay.
dream. And all of a sudden in the dream, it's like my eyes open in the dream. And even though I'm dreaming, it's like I open my eyes because I'm looking around. I'm saying, what's that noise? And so in my dream, I start looking around and then boom, my eyes open. And I still hear my papa's voice. And I'm hearing him say, I love you so much. I miss you so much, but I don't know what he's talking to. And then I open my eyes and there's gold light everywhere,
Yeah.
everywhere, gold light everywhere. And I felt the presence of my Mimi. I felt her spirit. Now, I'm almost certain we were outside the gates of heaven. And so I was completely silent and I could my Mimi wasn't saying anything. And if she wasn't saying it to me. I couldn't hear her talk, but there was nothing but gold light everywhere. The whole room was golden, warm light, and I could hear
Powerful.
my
Powerful
papa's
moment for
voice.
sure.
And my papa's voice was saying, I miss you so much. I love you so much. I miss you so much. And he was repeating that nonstop. And then
Wow.
after about a minute of sitting there, and I knew that that was my Mimi's spirit. She didn't say anything. I could just feel her presence. I opened my eyes back up. I was in a dark room. The fan was on. I was in the bed next to my papa. And I look at him, and he's staring at the ceiling, but he's asleep. His words are kind of jumbled. He's like, I miss you so much. I love you
Oh,
so much.
you
He's
guys were
sleep.
in the same you guys were in the same fucking dream or something.
Me and my papa. I'm not kidding you,
That's
John.
weird.
I promise you on my life. I promise you everything. The night my Mimi died, me and my papa linked dreams. We were in the dream realm together, surrounded by pure light and the spirit of my Mimi. The night that she died,
That's a beautiful thing, man. That's
and
a
and
beautiful
people
thing.
and people won't believe it, but that's okay. I'm just telling you what I saw and what I heard and what I felt.
Hey man, that's the thing. This is two gentlemen sharing personal experiences, and I know for a fact, Bryce, that there's going to be a lot of people commenting saying they've had similar experiences because these things happen every damn day. Like I had a dream where my nana called me on the phone and I talked to her for a minute. That was about 2 weeks ago. Very brief. She just said, "I'm doing good," and I was telling someone about that, and they're like, "People don't usually use phones in dreams," and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's true." So I mean, man, there's more going on. I think we should put a fucking period on this convo for now by just saying there is more than meets the eye to this life. I think that's undeniable at this point. From me in a personal experience, having gone through what I have in the last couple months. Um, I used to think I had it all figured out, brother, and now I'm starting to reassess. I'll put it that way, for real.
Well, they say the beginning of wisdom is the fear of God. And so if we can get you fearing God, brother, hey, that's it. You're wise at that point right there. But Hulk Hogan, did you hear his testimony? Why he believes in
Uh,
Jesus?
Like well, wait, are you talking about when he was in court for the Gawker stuff?
No, what happened to Hulk Hogan is he was an atheist, and then his friend died. It was Rowdy. It might have
oh
been
yeah,
Roddy.
Yeah, Roddy Piper. He's Canadian, actually. That guy. Yeah.
yeah.
Is that Ronda Rousey's dad?
Shirter, look up if Rowdy Piper is Ronda Rousey's dad.
Because her dad was a wrestler.
I'm curious. I don't think so. I would know that. No, it's definitely not because Rousey's not Canadian. I don't think so. My producer's looking it up right now, though. We'll confirm that.
Dude, I don't know where I got that connection at, but I thought that Ronda Rousey's dad was a wrestler anyway. But okay, back to the Hulk Hogan story. Okay, it has
Yes,
nothing to do
sir.
with Rousey. Hulk Hogan's friend died, and 3 days later, he got a voicemail from his friend, and the voicemail said, "Hey, Hulk, I'm up here. I'm in heaven with Jesus. You're gonna love it, brother." And then he hung up. So that's now you can say all that.
Another
You can
another
say,
phone
"Hey,
call
Hulk
thing.
Hogan's lying," but because of that one incident, Hulk Hogan came to Jesus, and so you can say it's a lie. But guess what? Jesus got what he wanted. He got Hulk Hogan into the kingdom of heaven.
And there it is. And there it is. I mean, hey, like I said before, Bryce, I think we are all entitled to have our own journey to that spirituality, and whether whether we come to that path in our life or not, everyone's entitled to come to it in their own way. And I think spirituality can transcend and reach people across all borders, across all races, religions, sexualities. Spirituality is transcends all that, brother. And I think from what I can tell, I think you agree with that statement. So I mean, I think that's a great foundation to try and forge a society out of the ashes of what inevitably is going to be this society. I hate to say it, but
Let me change one word. You said that's a great foundation for society. Let me change one word. That's the only
The
foundation
only
for
foundation.
society.
There it
If you
is.
don't accept Jesus Christ, if you don't accept the Bible as truth, you're going to be living in mud huts. You're not going to have nice technology. You, your
Well,
society is
that
never going to prosper. Christian nations are the strongest.
I mean, just one. I would just say there's probably a little bit of blame to be put on imperialism and all that stuff for the mud huts and years of systematic oppression. But having said that, we could go tit for tat on that down the history line. There's got to be a point. There's got to be a breaking point where we all come together. That's where I'm at with it, my friend. That's where I'm at with it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to switch it up in a big way right now because I've got a lot of questions I want to get to. Man, I feel like how long we've been talking for, Tommy? Fucking hour-long conversation about God. They said we couldn't do it, Bryce. We did it. Let's switch the vibe up here for a second. How much of a nuisance are the Razorback Hogs causing down in Arizona? I got to know. What's the deal with the Hogs?
Are you talking about like a baseball or basketball team?
No, like the Razorback Hogs, like the War Pigs or the Groundhogs or whatever they got down there.
Oh, in Arizona, yeah, they're rampant, and I mean, hogs are rampant, brother. I mean, they're survivors, and Yeah, they're nasty, man. They'll get all in the water supply and get E. coli in your water. They destroy crops. They
Oh,
overpopulate. Hogs need to be managed. You know what I mean? But hey, you know what? Hogs are resilient. That's why Arkansas. That's why they love the hogs because hogs are resilient.
I'll tell you what, I actually got E. coli. I got E. coli when I was a kid. It was fucking terrible. You literally couldn't even hold water in, and it was a painful experience. So yeah, not a big fan. So when we're dealing with the hogs, are we using a Mossberg or a Remington?
I mean, I like both. To be honest, it's hard to pick
okay.
between the two.
Okay.
If I had to pick between Mossberg and Remington, I'd probably pick Remington.
Okay. There it is.
Probably because of the rifles. But I tell you, the Mossberg 500 probably the best selling shotgun of all time. It might be the best shotgun of all time is the Mossberg 500. But the Remington 870, that's a good shotgun too. But I like the Remington rifles a little bit better, and also Remington ammunition. So if I had to pick between Remington and Mossberg, thank God I don't have to pick, but I'd pick Remington if I had to pick. They got
Okay.
better. Well, they have a lot of rifles. Mossberg has good rifles too, though. So hard to
You
pick.
heard
Remington, you heard it here first. Get my boy Bryce a sponsorship ASAP, okay? Um, is that something like the kids in Arkansas? Is that like a pretty frequent thing? Like, were you a young kid out in the field shooting off guns and shit, or is this something you've done as an adult?
There's a Remington factory 15 minutes from where I'm at right now. The Remington factory is in Arkansas. There's
of
a
course
Remington
there
factory
is.
down the road from me.
No
Yeah,
shit.
I mean,
No
I can
shit.
tell you names of people who's worked at the Remington factory. I mean, it's a very popular brand. It's an American brand, and we love
Of
Remington.
course.
Do you still have the bow that you made on the Ultimate Fighter show?
I gave it to a buddy, and yes, he has it in his closet.
That's awesome. That's awesome. He keeps it tucked away safe. Hey man, you might need that bow one of these days if the telecoms go down and everything. I mean, you don't know what you're gonna need, but that could come in handy. You make sure your buddy keeps that thing nice and stashed.
Yeah, everybody thinks that if power goes out, we go off the grid and everything collapses. Oh, I'm gonna use guns to hunt. There ain't gonna be no ammo. You're gonna have to go. There's gonna be a day
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. You're not gonna have any.
if everything collapsed, so eventually we won't even have ammo. We'll go back to muskets. We'll go back to bows and swords, and we would
Yes, sir.
we would
Yes, sir.
quickly go back.
Oh, it'll happen very quick. It'll be fucking Stone Ages all over, Game of Thrones shit in real life. What was it like, by the way? I want to ask the Ultimate Fighter. What was that like being filmed 24/7? Is that something you missed? Did you enjoy it, or was that just part of the job?
I was just part of the job. You kind of get used to it, but the best part of that, dude, was the food. I'm not kidding you. I'm telling you, they'll get you
Okay.
you want to eat. You have a request list. You could eat steak 3 times a day, 4 times a day. If you just tell them, "Hey, I
Hell
want
yeah.
steak," I was eating steak and lobster and sushi every day, and yeah, it
Love
was
that.
awesome. You can actually there's this. It's called a request list, and every fighter there's about 18 fighters or 20 something like that. But every fighter had a request list, and
Right.
I started taking and putting all my necessities like for back home for like when I got home. I knew I was going to need necessities, and so I was
Yeah.
smart. I was thinking about the future. The other fighters, they were getting all this stuff requested, and it was like I mean, just things from jackets and hoodies and stuff like that. But for me, I started requesting coconut oil. And the reason being,
Okay.
or avocado oil, because that stuff's expensive. And I started requesting all this food that I can't
Yes.
afford. And so by the time I left the show,
That's how you do it.
when I
That's how
left
you
the
do
show, I had a whole suitcase full of stuff that I'd requested, and I was the only
That's
one left there with the suitcase full of food. So when I left the show,
smart.
I already had my to-go suitcase full of food.
Fantastic. You're a born survivor. That's called just smart use of the resources you got in front of you, my friend. I love that. Milk it. I mean, milk that system. You know Dana White's got the money. Um, can I ask you, is there what's one thing that the average fan doesn't know about Dana White? Is there something like not to get you in trouble or anything, but maybe there's something that we don't know about Dana, something interesting, is anything, and what's Dana like behind the scenes?
Um, he's very easy to talk to when you see him. Very easy to talk to when you see him. And I think here's one thing. Here's the main thing that people don't get is that we don't really talk. We don't really talk to him. You would think
There it
you
is.
seriously,
There it is.
seriously, you would think UFC fighters would talk to Dana. I've talked to him only at shows, and it's never been for more than 30 seconds straight. It's been in 30-second intervals over the course of 8 years. I mean, I just like the fighters like me, like the lower tier guys, man, they don't I don't get to talk to him. He's a busy man. So
It's all business with Dana, all business, eh?
Yeah, I
that's
get
right.
that.
It's all business. But when you do get the chance to talk to him, it's very easy to talk to him.
Good.
And here's another thing that I want to say of Dana. I said that we're all wretches. We all have this desire for power and money, and we're all basically evil without God. But what I want to say about Dana is that he does have all the power. He does have all the money, and he still has a bit of restraint, and he still he still this is what I'm trying to say. For a rich guy, man, he ain't that bad. He ain't that bad.
That's nice to hear. That's nice to hear. Yeah.
Let me give you a perfect example, John. The perfect example is Bill Gates. Look at that piece of shit scumbag. He uses all his money. He uses all his money to kill other people. That's what Bill Gates loves, depopulation. He wants us all dead. And
I think so too.
I think so too.
And he uses all of his resources to try to kill us. A guy like Dana, he has all the money, all the power, all that, and he still is interested in helping other people. He's not perfect, but he's not evil like Bill Gates.
Yeah, I remember Bill Gates. They released a bunch of fucking mosquitoes throughout North America. They even released these things in Canada. Man, I was getting sent pictures of these helicopters releasing clouds. It looked like a big black cloud, but it was a fucking swarm of mosquitoes that had been genetically modified to fight malaria, I think.
But like we don't.
What they're gonna do is they're actually gonna spread malaria.
That's what I'm saying. We don't have malaria here. So why are they fucking spreading anti-malaria mosquitoes in a country with no fucking malaria? That was my question too, Bryce. That was my
And after he did that, the United States had the first recorded malaria cases. They had them in Florida and in Texas.
My man knows.
After Bill Gates released those mosquitoes, in the first time in over 50 years, there were 4 cases of malaria in the United States. It was eradicated till Bill Gates came back. He wants us dead. He wants all of us
seems
dead.
like it.
And,
Certainly
he
seems
also
like it.
he also put a red meat allergy in ticks. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, you know what? So that actually, I heard that was the CIA out at Montauk. There's this island in NYC, but they were fucking around with ticks there. And wouldn't you know it? These super tiny insects that are super hard to keep track of, one of them got out. And now, we have this terrible tick. I had to pull one off my dog 2 weeks ago. Nasty fuckers, man. Like, imagine just burying your head into like into like an animal, and you're just like, that's where you live now. Like, I had to fucking get the tweezers out, and I got it out with the head, thank God. But nasty fuckers, bro.
The red meat allergy that I'm talking about.
Yes, yeah. So it's specific with the deer ticks. It makes a person, you can't even eat a hamburger for the rest of your life, or you puke, right?
And I know multiple people in Arkansas that happened to.
That sucks.
Sucks.
What they're doing is they're trying to make it to where the outdoorsmen, the people, the hillbillies can't live off of the number one source of nutrition, which is red meat.
Yeah. I mean, we're carnivores, man. We're fucking carnivores. We can't deny that. You can't deny it.
They're trying to hit the hillbillies where it hurts the most. They're trying to take red meat away from the hillbillies because they know if the hillbillies formed an army, they're going to all eat red meat.
Well, you know what's funny too, man? It's almost like this consolidated effort to make people scared to go fucking outside. You know what I mean? Like, I remember being a kid going out into the woods in my t-shirt and my fucking shorts, climbing trees, fucking swinging from vines, just having a good old time with the boys in the fucking woods. And now it's like parents don't even let their kids go into the forest because they're scared they're going to get bit by ticks, or they're scared that an internet stranger is going to get them, or a bridge is going to collapse, or a plane's going to fall on them, or some person in NYC is going to run up and punch you right in the face. So it's just like, I do see it as like this. I refuse, Bryce. I refuse to be scared of the air. I mean, that was what COVID was all about, right? Making us scared to go outside again. They want us scared, my friend. And that's the bottom line. And I mean, I refuse to. You know what? Fuck it. If I get bitten by a tick, my body will figure it out, or it won't. That's frankly that's the way it is. And I know that might be a little ignorant, but I refuse to be scared of the air, and I refuse to be scared of like nature, because frankly, what's the point of living if that's the case? You know what I mean?
Exactly. And if you do get if you do get bit by that tick and get infected with that red meat allergy that's man-made in a lab by evil people, if you get hit with that, there is a cure for it. Actually, you know what I've heard is a cure for it out of one of the guys that got acupuncture.
Yeah, hit me with it. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, I was talking to a guy. He was in Little Rock Airport. We started talking about how we hate the government. He says, "Yeah, I got bit by a tick and now I can't eat meat." And he says, I said, "Damn it, dude." I said, "I'm so mad for you, dude." And I said, "Is there anything you think you can do to make that go away?" He said, "Acupuncture actually helps."
That's wild. Isn't it funny, man? It's like these things, they say, I wanted to say this earlier. I'm going to throw it in here now. It's like, these new age medicines and all this, the trust, the science, by the way, which, ironically enough, Bryce, I've always thought about this. Is trust the science not pretty much the scientific equivalent of just have faith? Just have faith in God. I always found that very fascinating. And I mean, that's what we've done, right? That's what the new religion of our modern world is, science. But it's still a religion, and they still make shit up and don't know everything. Like, not to say, you know what I mean when I say that. They fill in blanks. Like, no scientist knows fully. A lot of times doctors are just guessing. They're throwing some remedies out at you because they're like, well, let's see if this works. Oh, it did? Great. Oh, it didn't? Oh, he's dead now. You know what I mean? So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think science is just the new religion, man. That's like one.
You're absolutely right. Science is going to get more people into hell than anything. And this brings me to a great question. It made it pop up in my head because I got to ask you a question.
Yeah, hit me with it.
Do you know that the Earth is flat?
I have gone down that rabbit hole. I had a super shout out Scotty, friend of mine, Scott, super smart guy, brilliant guy. He believes that as well. And we're talking the firmament and all that stuff, I assume, right, Bryce? Is that what you're thinking?
Well, the firmament's mentioned in the Bible.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. But here's the thing, John, and the reason I'm interested is because when you understand that the world is flat, it's going to help you come to God. And as much as you do digging for the truth, as much as you love the truth, I figured you would love the fact to know that the earth is flat. There is not a big bang. The sun and the moon, they don't circle. I'm sorry, we don't circle them. The sun and the moon, brother, they circle us. You understand that the earth is the center of all this activity. How were the three pyramids in Egypt still aligned with the same stars they were 2,000 years ago, but the universe is constantly expanding and shifting? It's because it's not. The stars rotate the earth in the exact spot they have since God made them. And today they're still in the same location, and they always will be. And I'm telling you, the stars rotate around the earth. The sun and the moon rotate around the earth. And that's a fact. That ain't a guess. That ain't a belief. That's knowledge. And I'm trying to give you knowledge.
Hey, you know what I'm going to do, Bryce? I've just decided this right here on the spot. I'll do a deep dive on it, and I'll make a full video and research it from as an unbiased point of view I can on that. Because I do think it's worth looking into. Because, I mean, you look at some of these flight paths. That's what got me a little bit intrigued, was looking at like the emergency landing paths for aircraft and how they make zero fucking sense. But let's get into this last. I got to ask you: are we gonna see you in the octagon this summer?
Maybe not this summer, but
Okay.
before the winter, like before the end of the year, I'm getting in there. I don't know because summer's in like 2
Beautiful.
months. I don't know if it's quite in 2 months or 4 or maybe 6, but it's coming. It's coming soon.
Do you think it's going to be Shawnee boy, old Mr. Woodson there talking shit?
No, it's not going to be Woodson because I told them that I wanted the fight, and then they're not going to give me that fight.
Oh, oh, come on, Dana White. Give your head a shake. Give my boy Bryce the fight. Or wait, or is it Woodson's people that are backing out?
No, Woodson wants it. He's begging for the fight.
Woodson wants it. Yeah, Woodson wants it. Yeah. Okay.
He gets one opportunity to call one person out every time he fights, and he used it on me. He wants to fight me.
Yeah,
I want to fight him, but I'll tell you the truth. And anybody can say anything they want. I don't give a fuck. I know what the truth is. You know why I'm not going to get to fight Woodson?
Why?
Because they use me to fight the guys that nobody else wants to fight because they fucking know. They know when they call Bryce Mitchell and they ask him, he's going to say yes. And so what they're going to do, they use guys like Bryce Mitchell to fight guys that nobody else will fight. Nobody else would fight Ilya Tapora when he was ranked number 20. Nobody would fight Josh Emmett on 5 days' notice. Nobody would fight Josh Emmett on 5 days.
No.
Nobody wanted to fight Edson Barbosa.
Yeah, Barbosa's a weapon. Yeah, that guy's a fucking weapon.
Back when he was ranked 15th and hadn't been beaten, nobody wanted to fight a number 15 ranked Edson Barbosa. Well, what are you going to get? You'd rather just fight 14, 13, 12, 11. You'd rather fight anybody. But I fought Edson anytime they asked. I fought anytime they asked me to fight somebody. I say yes. So they're not going to let me fight Sean Woodson because there's 3 or 4 other people that will fight Sean Woodson. They're going to put me. They're going to put me against a motherfucker that nobody else will fight. They're going to use me as the guy that says, "Hey, nobody fights him. Throw Mitchell at him. Mitchell don't give a fuck." And they know I don't. And they know I'll take the fight with whoever they ask. And that's why I didn't get the Sean Woodson fight. They have a harder opponent to match than Sean Woodson. They have somebody out there who nobody's taking the fight, and they're going to throw them at me.
That's why you're a certified badass, Bryce. Let me ask you this. So after obviously Edson fight was a devastating knockout. I wanted to ask you what's it like coming back from that? I know it's not the first time you've been knocked out. I mean, obviously it's part of the Emmett fight. Sorry, my bad, brother. Yeah, so because I played hockey. I played some junior hockey coming up, and I can pinpoint when my career kind of started going sideways. I got fucking rocked from behind, man, like rocked from behind. Concussion. I think my shoulder was my shoulder was probably a little dislocated, but back then we just didn't do anything about it. You know what I'm talking about. So anyways, I started hearing footsteps, they say in hockey, right? So I got squirrely out there, man. I got squirrely. How do you deal with that coming back from a knockout like that, preparing? Is that something you just wipe it from your mind, or do you hone in on that?
I use it to make me mad and make me train harder. I've definitely trained harder since then, and I'm just not going to let it stop me. In fact, I'm going to use it to make me do better than ever because
hell yeah.
I'll tell you why I don't think the fight was fair, and not because he cheated or anything. He beat me fair and square. Yeah. But what I'm through my mindset is, not only did I take the fight, here's what people don't understand, John, is not only did I take the fight on short notice, I was not training. Okay. And then you're going to
that's crazy. That's crazy. Cause this guy's probably been training for 3 months steady, right? Like getting ready for the big fight. So
then people are going to say, "Oh, well, it's your job to be a fighter. Why wasn't you training? You're an idiot, Bryce. Why would you do that?" Okay. This is what happened, John. Let me explain exactly what happened. I fought 3 months before that. I fought this guy named Dan Ige. He hit me in my right eye. I was blind in my right eye for 1 week.
Oh, God. That sucks.
I was blind for a week out of my eye. So I'm praying to God, please let my eye heal. Please, Jesus Christ, eye heal.
Yeah.
So I go to the doctor after about a week of being blind. I start getting my vision back, and the doctor says, "Do not let anything touch that eye." He said, "Don't get it poked, don't get it scraped, don't even let the sun hit it too much." So I was walking around with glasses For 3 months, I didn't
Yeah.
train. I didn't box. I didn't wrestle. I didn't do anything. You know what I did? Construction. I went and built a house. I
There you
built
go.
a
Oh,
I saw some of that. I remember watching you do that on your Instagram. I feel like I saw some of that. Yeah, yeah.
Now, this is our room and the window right there.
beautiful.
But this is our bedroom now. But anyway, so I stayed in a trailer before that Josh Emmett fight. I was staying in a trailer, little bitty ass trailer, and I had a kid on the way. I couldn't train because my eye was messed up, and I was worried if my eye got touched, I would go blind. So I started dedicating
Yeah.
my to construction and building this house before the kid was born, so that when the kid was born, he wouldn't stay in that little bitty trailer. He'd have a nice big house, and we'd have room. Well,
Beautiful.
3 months goes by. I haven't trained a bit. I've been doing construction every single day. Have not trained once. Have not trained
Right.
once because I'm worried my eye's gonna go back to being blind. I'm so terrified about my eye. And then they call and they said, "Hey, do you want to fight Josh Emmett?" And I threw out a number and I said, and here's what people don't realize. Let me just tell you the numbers. And people's gonna think I'm either trying to brag or I'm this or that. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. I'm gonna tell you the number because and here's the reason the number is important, because it puts the reality into these motherfuckers' heads, into what's going on through my head. I'm doing construction. I'm 20 foot up on a ladder. I'm on a roof putting in boards. And I get a call. My wife tosses the phone up to the top of the ladder. It's my manager. He says, "Hey, do you want to take the Josh Emmett fight in 3 days?" And I'm sorry, in 10 days. And I said, "Well, they're gonna have to pay me more." And he said, "Well, what do you want?" I said, "Shit, I don't know." And I'm not making anywhere near this before. I'm making basically $60,000 a fight.
Yeah.
60. I said on that phone, I said, "I want $300,000.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
I want
Good for you.
$300,000. I said, "I want $300,000. I said,
Yeah.
and you know what my manager said?
Done.
He's
Done deal.
no. He said that ain't gonna happen. He ain't gonna happen.
Oh.
He said that
Oh
ain't
shit.
happen. And you know what I told my manager?
What?
I said, if they want the king of the South, I want $300,000.
I love that. I fucking love that.
The dude calls. I'm thinking in my head, there's no way they're paying me that shit. They called back. Not only did they offer 150, 150,
Let's go.
they fucking offered 150, 150. They give me a new 5-fight deal with it, with a bonus.
Isn't it amazing? That's amazing when you ask for what you deserve. Like, that's fucking awesome to hear, man. That's fucking awesome.
Now I didn't get the 300,000. I got knocked the fuck out, so I only got 150.
Right. Of course. Yes.
But then I had to pay taxes on that.
Oh,
Then I had
yeah.
to pay my manager. So I didn't really make 150. I made a little bit less than 100 because I pay manager, coaches, taxes. But
Yeah.
when you're not even making half of that, your pay gets doubled. My pay got more than doubled. I took the fight without training. I don't know what else to
Yeah.
tell you. Who the
Yeah.
fuck wouldn't? Who the fuck wouldn't?
Nah, you're a badass, man, because that's a daunting task. And I mean, you're putting your you like, straight up, not to get too heavy with you, Bryce, but you're putting your life in danger. Like every fighter does. Like, do you know last night a boxer in the UK died? Sharif Lal. I think I said his name really wrong, and I apologize to his family for that. But he was hit, he was knocked out, and he 29-year-old guy. They took him to the hospital, and he passed away last night. That just happened. So thoughts and prayers with his family and the whole community, because that's got to be a pretty devastating thing, for you guys to like see and hear about. Have you ever been up close and personal with a situation like that throughout all your years of training and being involved in fights?
No, I've never had a close one like that die in a fight like that. But it definitely happens, and here's where it's justified, brothers. I had the kid on the way,
Yes, sir.
and I wanted that house to be built, and I knew that I was either going to have to take out a loan or do something very major to have the budget to finish building the house for the kid. it was like God was giving me a way to pay for this house. And so I said, and then when I made up the number 300,000, it was just the first number that came to my head. I said, tell them I want
Interesting.
300,000. I said, I want
Yeah.
300,000 or I'm not fucking fighting. They called
Yeah.
back and they said, we'll do 150, 150.
Yeah. After your manager says not a chance. I love that. That's my favorite part of the story.
And he said, yeah, he said
Fucking
not
right.
a chance. And I said, well, there's not a chance I show up then.
Yeah, fuck you. Yeah, exactly. No, man, you realize your worth, and that's an important thing, and that's an awesome thing to hear. Because I mean, not to go there, but like I do know in the past there has been controversy over whether you guys are compensated fairly, you know. And I know it's a fine line, and it is a business at the end of the day. But yeah, you guys are straight up putting your lives at risk out there. So good for you for asking for what you deserve for, Bryce. Like for real.
Well, it's not that much money. There's people that make millions doing way easier things, but
Yeah, insider trading.
yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
the reason that I wanted to the reason that I wanted to throw out the numbers, I wanted to tell you about my injury because first off, John, you don't hear fighters talking about numbers. You don't hear fighters talking about injuries. I just went over
No.
both of you.
Yeah,
I
you
just
did,
went
man.
over both with
Yeah,
you.
you did.
I gave all this personal information to everybody listening because I want them to understand what was going through my head to make such a stupid decision as to take a fight when I wasn't training. Because if you don't understand the numbers and if you don't understand the psychology of what's going on, you're going to say, well, he's just stupid for taking that fight. But if you hear about what was going on in my life at the time and how God was helping me, you'd say, well, I'd probably do what Bryce did too.
Yeah, I would say you're anything but stupid when you lay it all out like that. Not that I would have said that either way, but nah, man, you did what you had to do, and that's the mark of a man right there. Well, a human. That's the mark of a human.
Frankly.
And God still protected me too. And because it could have been much worse, but God did several things to protect me. And most importantly, I didn't get hit in that eye. And
Yeah, thank God.
the
Thank
injury is
God.
completely gone away.
Excellent.
And so there's no signs that anything is wrong with the eye, but it took a long time for my eye to heal. And I do believe it's back to full strength.
Beautiful, beautiful. Do you think so? Who you got lined up? Who you got in the scope for the next fight? Is there a dream opponent right now?
I mean, I'm clearly not going to be able to pick my opponent. I just tried and they said no because with the
Right.
wood. But if I
Right.
had to
Right.
guess, if I had to guess who's this grand, what's the grand scheme here? What's going on? Who do they really want me to fight? Because if they're not going to give me the Woodson fight, that means they have some opponents in mind that they really want me to fight. Who do I think it is? I think they're going to make me fight that Diego Lopez because he's young, he's
Okay.
coming.
Okay.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing about him. Not only is he a beast, he's an absolute beast. He's a monster. But guess what? He's an unranked monster. He's a low ranked
Right.
monster. They're
Right.
gonna. That's why nobody else will fight him. That's why I said Bryce Mitchell fights some motherfuckers that other motherfuckers won't fight.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Nobody
Do you
wants.
think do
Nobody.
you sorry, go ahead, Bryce. Go ahead. My bad.
Nobody rank. This is what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say they can't find Diego Lopez a fight, but what I'm telling y'all right now is nobody ranked above Diego Lopez will go down in rank to fight Diego Lopez. There's only
Right.
one. There's only one.
That's
Motherfuckers,
my
it's
guy.
Bryce Mitchell.
That's my guy. That's my
I
guy.
don't give a fuck what your rank is. I don't give a
Nice.
fuck what your rank is. When they call Bryce Mitchell, he says yes. It don't matter what your rank is, what country you're from. It don't matter. Bryce Mitchell says yes, and they know that, and they're going to use me to fight these guys that nobody else wants to risk their rank to fight because I don't give a fuck about rank. The only
No.
rank I worry about is ranking the kingdom of God.
Fair enough, my friend. Would you like another shot to get at Emmett with like a proper training? Do you think if that opportunity presented itself, would you be jumping at that? Do you think?
Yeah.
I would.
My
I
man.
would. And you know what's sad is they wouldn't even give me that fight right now. If I called them out, they wouldn't even give it to me. So I have to go and earn that. And yeah, I do want that fight back.
All right. Well, listen, I got 2 more questions for you, my man. I can tell my producer's looking at me. He's like, Johnny, we're running out of time here, so I got to hit you with this. How's it going being a new father?
It's amazing. You know,
Nice.
the boy's already gained like 3 pounds, and you know, Aaron is the one that really does all the work. So I have no complaints. The wife is just constantly nurturing the baby. So it's pretty cool to watch and see like motherly love firsthand.
No doubt. And I'm sure if you like, are you kind of on command as soon as like if she's like my feet are sore, I need a back rub. I hope you're jumping in to help the mama. Cause I do think, you know, what's funny is our society's gone so diluted and delusional. We pretend that like listen, the mother is way more important in that child's life right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like way more fucking important than you are. But, you know, you're still a vital part of the picture. You got to be there to help mama with everything, right? So, I mean, I think that's these are some of the truths I think our society needs to relearn. You know what I mean? Because, like, God, you can. I can already see the comments coming from what I just said, but I stand by it. You know, a child needs its mother out the gate.
Yeah, I mean it. Yeah, a male does not produce milk from the titty. You know,
No,
it's
no, fuck no.
Getting into some deep science here, guys. Take notes. Well, listen, man, I'm so happy that you were able to build the house for your kid. I'm so happy that your eye is healed. I'm so fucking happy we were able to have that conversation about religion and God and everything in between, my man. You are a genuine good dude, Bryce. Thank you for coming on. And my last question is, do you have anything to say to Ben Shapiro?
well. Let's think. Go fight your own wars. Go fight your own wars.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Stop telling us we already pay your salary, don't we? He's already a government worker. Is that not enough that my taxes pay your salary, you bitch? Isn't it? Now I have to go fight your wars for you. Now I have to give my life for you. My tax dollars ain't enough. What a
Yeah.
coward, man. He's a coward. And what's funny is I don't like to make fun of people's appearances or this or that.
Sure.
Genuinely, but what's funny about him, he's got that squeaky little rat voice, and it's
Yes, he
just
does.
it's indicative of his little squeaky little rat inner self, you know, because that's what he is. He's a little squeaky rat. You know, he takes payment from all these big corporations. He takes our
Yes, he
tax,
does.
and then
Yes, he does.
then he demands we go die for his wars. And he's a squeaky little rat. And but I don't know, man. I don't hate the guy. I just disagree with him. That's all.
Hey, and you have every right to disagree. I think that's a beautiful place to end it, guys. Just remember, we are all fighting our own wars. Try and remember that in your everyday life. You don't know what a person's going through. You know, I'm talking to the people right now, Bryce, not you specifically, but just we all have our own battles to fight. I think it's time we stop fighting on behalf of the Ben Shapiros of the world, the Joe Bidens of the world, the Putins, the Netanyahus, the fucking Ayatollah of Iran. Fuck them all. That's my take on it, my friend. And that's it. Bryce, thank you so much. Guys, go follow Thug Nasty on Instagram. And can't wait to see you in the octagon again, my friend.
Dude, thank you so much for having me. You got my number, John. Just holler anytime, brother. I'm right here, man. We're friends, man.
You know I will. Thanks again, Bryce.
Brother, thank you. Bye-bye.